Okay guys, let me quickly show you some comparisons. So here we have the ultraviolet palette. I have the Norvina palette, the Color Drain Power palette, the Colourpop It's My Pleasure, and the Huda Beauty Amethyst Obsessions palette. So we'll just take a quick look at all of these palettes one by one. Okay, first I think we'll take a look at the Huda Beauty palette. You can see that there is a lot of difference between both the palettes. This palette has those plummy shades, some plummy browns, some pinks. Those kind of matte shades are not available here. These are missing. I actually prefer the Huda Beauty palette over this one because you have some depth here. And there are two shades which I think are kind of similar, are these two shades and these two shades. These two shades. So I think that's the only similarity between these two palettes. So here is Huda Beauty, and here are the shades. So here are the shades. So these are the Huda Beauty shades, and these are the Naked Violet shades. The Huda Beauty ones are definitely more vibrant. Okay, so Huda Beauty, very, very rough swatches, and the Naked Violet. As I said, they do not swatch that well. You have to build up the color quite a bit. Even on the eyes you have to build up the color, but with the Huda Beauty one you saw that it's pretty intense at one go. And even though this shade it looks similar in the pan, but you can see the intensity of the UD one. It's quite subtle, quite light. It's not as punchy as the Huda Beauty one. And other than that, I don't think we have any similar colors here. This one has different shades of duochrome. This one has different shades of duochrome. You may want to take a look at these two shades. Now these two shades are pretty different from each other. This is the Naked palette, and this is Huda Beauty. Huda Beauty one has a duochrome shift. This one also has, but not that much. So if you look at the whole palette, not a lot of similarities. I think something similar will be with the Colourpop palette. Here is the Colourpop palette. Let me just slide this one up here. Now the Colourpop palette, I have a comparison of these two palettes on my blog, and I think I have also done it on the channel as well. Both the Colourpop and the Huda Beauty palettes, they have a very similar color story, a similar vibe. In this palette as well, you have a deeper matte shade which can give some depth to the looks which you get here. That kind of matte shade is obviously not there in the Naked palette. There is this one color here, this one and this one, which is kind of similar, but yeah, again when I swatch it I can show it to you that they are not very similar. This is how the Colourpop one is, and this is the UD one. Even if I swatch this one from UD, you can see the difference in the shades. Here is the Colourpop one and here is the UD one. So you can see that there is a lot of difference in the shade. So the shade is not exactly the same, but the vibe is pretty similar. Let me swatch one more color. Okay, let's swatch this one from Colourpop. Look at that beautiful pigmentation. And let's swatch this one from UD. So definitely these two shades are more similar to each other. This is the Colourpop one and this is the UD one. Again, the intensity in the Colourpop one is much more. So even though these two may look similar in tone, this is more similar to this one in the pan here and this one in the pan here. Other than that, not too many similarities. Again, I would say that I really like the Huda Beauty and the Colourpop palette more than the UD one. Even the purpley violet shade which is right here and the Colourpop one, I prefer the matte in the Colourpop one. It's more pigmented. Look at the purple right here, and this one is more pastel-y. So for my skin tone, so this is the Colourpop one and this is the UD one. Definitely for my skin tone, I will prefer this one from Colourpop. So here is the Color Drain Power palette. This is I think my most favorite purple palette. I just love the tones in this palette. The intensity is just superb. Again, if we have to compare, I will prefer the Power palette because of the mattes. There is a range of matte, there's a lot of depth in the colors. The pigmentation is just really good. But just for comparison, I want to compare a few shades. So for example, this shade which is right here, look at that. It has that beautiful flip. It's really duochrome and shiny, whereas we have this one and this one. How the color drain has so much of intensity and such a nice shift, whereas these ones from Urban Decay, they don't have a lot of shift. They're pretty like basic. It's color drain, Urban Decay, Urban Decay. Okay, here are the swatches. The color drain one is much more smoother, very pigmented, and I prefer the tone in the color drain one. It's really pretty. It has a plummy undertone, which I love. Apart from that, don't see a lot of similarities. Probably if you want to see this one, it's a deeper plummy purpley sort of a color in the color drain palette. It's really beautiful. And this one in the Urban Decay. The Urban Decay one is a little more violety, little bit more bluish, whereas this is a little bit more plummy. There is a slight difference in the shades, and same way we can see this one as well. The deeper shade in the Urban Decay one is more brown with a little hint of purple. So all of the shades are pretty different from each other. These are also nice shades from the Urban Decay palette. Okay, apart from that, we can also look at this shades, this one and this one. This is also like a similar champagne-y pink shifty kind of a shade. This one also is similar, like a champagne gold, rose gold kind of shade. This one almost has like a brownish red undertone. This one has a little purplish shift. So you can say that these two colors are a little bit similar. So this one is color drain. Look at that shift. It has a purple shift. And this one is UD. This also has a purple shift, purple pink shift. So yeah, maybe on the eyes they'll not look that different, but the intensity in the color drain one is definitely more. And what else? Do you see any other shades which we can compare? I know these two look like white. They may look similar, but they are not. This one has a blue shift and this one has a purple shift. They're completely different colors. Look at that shift. Both are really nice shades. I like these colors. So that's the comparison of these two palettes side by side. I still prefer the color drain palette. I will definitely recommend this one if you want a true purpley, plummy, very deep pigmented palette. Okay, so this is the last palette for today. I just put it in the video because many people say that this is a purple palette, maybe because of the color of the cover. But it's not actually a purple palette. There are just two pops of purple, this one and this one. There's a matte and there's a purple. This matte I don't really use that much. There is just one purple. There's a deep plum. Other than that, all are neutral pinks, gold, champagne, bronze kind of shades. So I don't think these two palettes are similar. So in a way, both of these palettes are sort of like neutral palettes with pops of purple. Norvina has just one purple, maybe two, and this one has more, but both of the palettes can be used as neutral palettes. If you ask me which one I will recommend, I will say you should go for the Norvina palette because it has more neutrals and more everyday friendly colors. This one necessarily is not that everyday friendly. With this one you can easily create everyday friendly looks, and the pop of purple and the pop of plum, you will get very similar looks with this palette as well. The plus point of this Urban Decay palette is definitely the duochromes which they have. These two shades are really pretty and they bring a unique dimension to your look. And also this shade right here, Euphoric, it brings in a very nice dimension. It gives a nice pop. That kind of shade is not in the ABH one, but definitely ABH one is much more smoother shadows, very pigmented. And if you don't really want too much intensity, you just want subtle purples but a variety of purples along with some neutral shades, you can go for the Urban Decay Naked UltraViolet. But if you really want purple palettes, these are the palettes to go for. The Color Drain Power or the Huda Beauty Amethyst or the Colourpop It's My Pleasure. This is my favorite, the Color Drain Power palette. So beautiful. I just love this palette so much. So you should definitely invest in these three purple palettes if you really want purple eyeshadows. So that's it for this video, this section. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, then just drop them in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again really soon in my next video. Bye.